thank you guys for coming. It's really pleasure that you can be here in game days in Košice and hear my shitty talk. So this is my first time doing something like this. So enjoy, have a good seat, and it will be, I don't know what. So my talk is thought process of concept art by me. So the question is how to tackle hard and complex assignments. Sometimes we get an assignment from a client which is like really hard and it's stressful and you don't know how to tackle it because it's too big to handle. And we will answer this question, or I will try to help you to figure out how you can do it. So, for example, on this image, you can see the knight is fighting a dragon, and other knights, or I don't know who they are filling in fire and they are dying. So we want to be this guy. Wait a second, this guy. Yeah, we don't want to die, so we want to prepare well. And because of that, we need to prepare. For example, you need to have really good shield, nice shoulders, good thighs, and nice hair. No, just kidding. You need a proper chainmail, elixirs, swords, and stuff like those. So we will try to do something not different, something same in concept art. So I got this assignment. It's like there is a lot of text. Nobody wants to read it all, and I was like, another assignment. So let's talk about this. So, quickly in summary, I got an assignment about to design an key illustration for game Age of Pyramids, and it meant to be like the scenery where the Great Pyramids were built, and I needed to complete those things, those elements, like different stage of building pyramids, ancient temples, ships, farmers on fields, blah, 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 and a lot of things. So we need a strategy. And we don't want to be blind like those guys. We want to be like clear-minded and open for a lot of workflows and techniques. And yes. So this is the final piece, and it's very nice. And yeah, we will explain it, like dig much more deeper into him so we can explore. I can show you how I did it. So the first or the third is research and references. So research and references are probably important. Probably all of you guys know what that word mean, and we'll explain more. So for example, there are some examples of really good resources for inspiration or information. For example, Pinterest is really good for what? It has like really good algorithm of searching images. Like you can find one good image of beautiful girl, and they're like you have a full page of beautiful girls. And it works similar for the pyramids. Our station, you all know it. Wikipedia probably should know it. And Shodek, this is the new one. It's like the giant library of screenshots from movies, and you can search for there in the site for a lot of the details, like who did that movie, what was the director, and other stuff there. So probably what type of lens was there, and they have like really good search settings that you can type, like I want to have a shot like it's medium white with a shallow lens of the depth of field, and it's like raining, and there are two characters. It's really complex and fine for concept artists. Google, you know that. So, movies, books, and TV shows. Probably everybody from you have already seen a movie or read a book or have seen Arcane, probably. It's a really good show. I recommend it. So these are really good and reliable resources for inspiration. For example, I'm a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft, and The Color of the Outer Space is my favorite book from him. And I also did one piece based on his artwork, not artwork. He's also artist in some way. Yeah, so you can be inspired by a lot of those things, and it's also good to sometimes in the evening when you are tired and you want to like rest. You can watch something really nice like Lord of the Rings. You have many hours to do it, and yeah, you can get inspired really well. And the mind behind all of the world and the direction and art, they are like gorgeous. They're one of the best. So life experiences. Yeah, I also in my spare time I do photography because it's cool. And also I do crazy stuff like those or those. This is me. If you can see that I'm screaming with a shaman drum. And yeah, I really like go to nature. Probably you have been there once. And yeah, I'm, for example, here, I am felt in a shit with a giant wheel, and we are trying to get it through. I don't know why, but it was a summer camp. Why not? So you need to have something to can back up on. Like, for example, in the future, if I would do an image based on exposition in, for example, Nepal or somewhere where it's really cold, I can get like not just references from the internet, but actual like memories from how it felt to be in minus 25 Celsius and have like my fingers were melting from they are not melting, sorry. They are like screaming from a pain. And yeah, you need to go outside, not just sit behind the computer. Next, there are some examples of my reference boards for that image, ancient pyramids, and I will go through, I will show, for example, the client wanted to have like really lush forests and a lot of greenery, not just that ugly desert. But he wanted to have a Nile spread very widely. And so he wanted to have like contrast between greenery and the yellow-orange color. So I haven't been in Egypt yet, so unfortunately I cannot show you some references from there. But there are Google images, some also really good master paintings, which are good also for like, I will show it now. Okay, the ships, cool ships. And yeah, this is what I want to show you. Reference of quality and juiciness. What it means is like, okay, I know what I want to create, but I don't know in the first way how it should look, and I want to make it better than my other work. So I usually I download like best work I can find on the internet in those examples, and you can see, for example, for this image, I have been inspired by this composition very much because it, from a distance, is a really simple image, and it has like large section of blue part, then something greenery, brown, and other blue. So if you can squeeze your eyes, you can see like it right away. You can read it right away. But if you can zoom in out, there is a lot of stories of people how they're selling their goods and they are helping the town. Yes. So next, ideas and sketches. There are some really nice sketches. So yeah, okay, the purpose was the client wanted to have some different ideas of how the scenery could look. We tried to do those ones, but I don't know, I wasn't really pleasant with it, that it was like, it's okay, but it's generic and it's ugly. So I was like, let me try this one or this one. Well, not, yeah, they didn't work at the end. Sorry? I think there is too much of details, and yeah, this one is much more clear. Sorry, my English is so perfect. So this was a good point, but the client wanted to have a big portion of image surrounded by focus on Nile. So the Nile was, for example, after those images, I did really fast this one, and it was like, okay, this is the one, and it's really ugly for probably you and all others in this room, but for me it is like, okay, I have farmers, I have some greenery, I have some palm trees, blah blah blah, and there is a large section of Nile. There are different buildings, churches, stuff like those, and there is like large pyramid. So this was like the starting point. Yeah, that one was the starting point, and we managed that. Okay, I think I don't know if I show it this to the client because it's that ugly that he would think that I'm junior or something less, or I don't know. So I show it this one. It has a lot of details, stuff like those, but still I'm struggling with it. Still the composition, the flow, I wanted to make the flow really beautiful, and it's like, I don't know where I should put my eyes. So I created this one based on, sorry, that one more. So I had a really huge inspiration from that one. Yes, and okay, finally we have a good flow. We have a green part, blue part, white part, and again, blue part. And also we want to have this thing. So next, add details. No. Add different lighting. Maybe try to do it much, like as much as Egypt as it could be. So let's do a dusk lighting. But it was like, everything was brown at the end. So I was like, this is not looking better. So I figured out that, okay, the normal hour at noon is much better. And I started to explore more of the, okay, I figured it the light, and then I started to add details like those farmers, some grass, because I wasn't able to find good references or 3D models for actual vegetables and shit what they do here. Some basic composition with ships, not ships, boats. And yeah, client wanted also to show how pyramids are built. So I needed to watch a 3 hour and a half document. It was so gorgeous. And it's really funny because now we don't know still, or how to say it, doesn't matter. So we don't know yet, yes. We don't know yet how pyramids were built, but we can theorize about it, and we can figure out it, like, we can make our own opinion about it. So, okay, next. Yes, there is like a small section of palm trees, which why did I did those? The answer is because of these trees in the distance, they can be just plains. They are just 2D. They don't need to have depth. But those palm trees, they need to be really detailed and three-dimensional. So I figured out that the best way to be in some way smart, not to work hard because I'm lazy sometimes, was to download some good reference, put it on PNG file, and then occupy it in a scene. Also, there are some screenshots from the Blender, how it looks like. It's like really simple. Like you can see a lot of polygons and a lot of mistakes, like these are connecting in a really bad way, but I can fix it with the overpaint. Next, like the ship, you can see those polygons like they're super steep, but with overpaint you can do it. For example, for this part of boat, I wanted to have a little bit more details. Yeah. Then I think this is not. Yes. No. This is the final image, and this is like my final render without overpaint yet. And I want to show you some example of how overpaint can help your work. So look at this. Like you can add some ropes, some details to the life to the characters, and also fix some mistakes. So before and after, and also some water elements, and make it more juicy and also less detailed. So for example, for this section, it is looking like Minecraft, and we don't want to do it. So nice, and it does look probably much better. Yes. Okay. What the time it is? Cool. Yes. So I want to show you the difference in two images. This one and this one. And I have a question for you. What is like different about them? You can scream. Yeah? Yeah, something like that. No, no, no. It was dumb joke. Sorry. I wanted to show that this is like a few 5 months difference, and I want to explore why I did like that progress of from this 2D image to this much better quality work. And yeah, sorry for asking that question. Yeah, so this was 5 months before this image. Yeah, and the answer is desert world. Yeah, this was a course with Jama Jabev. It was like I think 6 weeks, no 5 weeks long, and it was super awesome. I think the best thing which happened into my life from the art standpoint. Yeah, and I want to get you really fast through that story, and I will explore that process, how I did those characters, and how I built those scenes. Because I had only 6 weeks, for 5, sorry, 5. My memory is really bad. I had just 5 weeks to do it, and I wanted to do crazy things I think I can do. But I was like, I knew that I'm not that good, so I need to be smart in that way. And also because of this, because of that reason, I have this talk that I want to talk how to tackle difficult assignments. Like sometimes you want to explore and you want to be better. Like you are sometimes struggling. Like I'm for 1 whole year, I'm not doing any progress in my work, and you should ask yourself why it is that. Probably the short question is not to work harder, but to work smarter in a way that you want to explore different areas. For example, like for me, it was photography, it was camera work, and also other crazy shit, which I will explain to you later. So this is a story. Once upon a time, there was a big truck which needed to be filled by water. And in those trucks, there were a lot of soldiers which were really thirsty. Blah, blah, blah. So this is the world which is surrounded by sand. Everything else is like dying, and it's post-apocalyptic scenario where there are just few parts of humanity that are living still. Animals are totally dead. We are living on vegetables. And yes, so I wanted to explore also some deeper stories. For example, for this soldier, his wife died also with his kid, and I wanted to. I will show you the new sketches, but I wanted to hear him holding the photography of their children, of their like family photography, and then he will be attacked by some tribal people, and then he will die, and the blood will like fill that photo, and it will slowly like fill it and will disappear. And bad ending, yeah. But I wanted to make like some emotions in my audience, so you should cry now. Yeah, so it more like touchy and feely, like it's like there are my eyes and your eyes looking on those men, like don't worry, we'll not die. But yes, you know, he will. So this is a first look on the large trees, and they're like on Earth. There is a fictional place inspired by California, huge sequoia trees near California. Yeah, and I think that would be the good, cool idea to have like last resources of water, like there and inside those trees. Like those trees are that powerful that can hold that water, and there is like rich and lush greenery compared to that really harsh and not very pleasant desert. So this is the first look on the what is the name of them? Sorry, yeah. So some tribal people, yes. And I wanted to explore like how they would live. I wanted to find a solution like, okay, they are in some way really religious in that way that they don't use metal. Then they use just wood, some ropes, and natural elements because they believe that the oil and everything man-made, not by the nature, will kill them. Yes. So I wanted to design like tree houses, a place where they could live upside, and there is like a thick atmosphere of moisture and a lot of blue. So the next, there is a quick shot on approaching soldiers. They are like going to their direction, and the large sandstorm is behind them. So they need to hurry. So let's have some like spice them up. There's some other screenshots, blah, blah, blah. They are entering like the giant forest and everything is like super large and mystical, and you don't know that, like, for example, they haven't been there yet. They don't know what there is, if there is like some Baba Yaga or Baba Yaga or some crazy monster or some ant, or they don't know it yet. They will figure it out. Yeah, there are some other shots for it, like they are approaching it, and well, finally you can see like, okay, someone is looking at them and they are in danger. Maybe what they will do. Yes, like, yeah, they are being watched by them, and they have like cool masks, really good tattoos, and very long bows. Later I will show you my references for those people, and also it was really cool to find a process for doing characters, because I forgot to say who I'm like. Yes, I'm an environment artist, and my main focus are environments. So characters are like somehow fills for those environments. So I want to have really good environments, but I don't know how anatomy work. Not like Jet and others and Mike, and they're good. But yes, so I wanted to cheat as much as possible. So the next screenshot, they are stuck in the sand because the tribal people probably poop to that sand, so you can have better consistency, and it can be like those cars can dive there. Next, so there is like, look at his eyes, like he's super dark and gloomy, and he's like it reminds me from the newest Batman, like the makeup. Yeah, and yeah. Yes, and then you have a shot of one of the tribal soldiers aiming at them, and it will finish soon. So then last epic shot, and we will end with like no battle, because we don't have much more money for it. Yeah, so that was a story, and now I would like to explain to you how I did it, and what technique I used, what approaches I used, and how I was thinking about it, because it was, for me, I think the hardest thing which I did, because still during the course I was also working 9 hours a day or something like that, and I was like, okay, I need to get like 2 days per week like free, because I would not be able to do it only on the weekends and during my spare time after work. So I got 4 days. So I worked like 13 hours for those 4 days, and after work maybe 3 or 4. And after 5 weeks I collapsed and did this. So the first assignment was to create 3 pitches with 3 different type of scenario for that desert world. For example, there is a Tibetan temple in the sand. Like I wanted to, it would be a cool idea to explore something more with Tibetans, because they have really good architecture and they are like foreign for us, and I would like to explore them more. Then it was mining lava's resources of water, and it was like everything need to be rusty, industrial, and there are like huge tanks of water, which are like huge towns are surrounding just one giant tank for several kilometers. And then I had the idea like, let's do a large sequoia trees, like to create that contrast between a green and orange, or the high civilization of oil and iron and guns and powder, and compares to like basic elements like basic weapons like axes and arrows and bows. So Jama said this one is like the most interesting one, because those are like okay, but a lot of guys did something similar to it. So I want to explore that one. So these are some sketches for this mining last resources. Yeah, it was like, it is still be really cool to combine it. If I would have like spent more time in this world, I would definitely would like to explore those like walls. Something I has been inspired by Attack on Titan walls, because they are super cool and mysterious, and I want to do something similar. Like the story behind it was like there are the first wall was like large like this, and then there were bandits which they wanted to like get their resources, so they needed to put another wall and another wall and another wall. Yeah. There is a Tibetan concepts, like it would be really cool to see these temples in the mountains surrounded by giant sand mountains. Yeah, and then there's a road filled by those giant trees. So yes, and we picked those because that contrast. Yes. So again, strategy. You now don't want to fight the dragon. You want to fight something like this. It's Margit, or I'm not sure, but it's like super big giant monster. It's a scary thing. Like it has many arms, giant axe, and it's scary. So you want to prepare for it. So what process I had? Sorry. Yeah. What process I had? The process was like, okay, I need to figure out that I need first was sleeping. I need to sleep well, because if I sleep less, I'm less consistent, and I am like in a really bad state, and I want to design. I want to create something which should be memorable. And yeah, so the sleep. Then was also don't skip exercises, because I had some back problems and I don't want to have them back. And then was like, okay, let's go to actual work. And it was like, okay, every lunch I will design and think with the sketchbook, like what type of like what type of trees I want to have there, and I will do my thinking process. So because of this, and also because of this person, it reminds me of Michel Lotito. I don't know if I said it right, but he's a French man. The man who ate a whole plane. Like, it's really funny because he ate it. Yeah, for example, this would be like assignment for one of you, like eat that plane. I would be like, what process I should use? And yeah, so it was something like that, but less stressful. I didn't need to eat metal. But what I learned from him was that he cut those giant, like you have that plane. If I would cut it to smaller pieces, maybe I could chew it and die. Yeah, so I tried to separate every one of the elements to the smaller elements, and then okay, if I would do just that barrel, I can do that table, and then I can do that sand, and blah 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 blah. It wasn't like I need to create a beautiful world. Wow, no. It was like step by step by step. So in the next, when you will be designing something really hard, look at it from the Mitchell or Tito perspective. You are not able to eat that whole plane. So I needed to build really good, dope, shit, blah 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 vehicles. Then nice trees, the elements for tribal people, actual tribal people, and then soldiers. The research and references. This is like the same because memorize something is really good. So we are trying to memorize it. And so these are some references of them all for the tribal people. Yes. Mercenaries, really good film with Schwarzenegger. And they are tribal people. I want them to look like still human, but I want to do also have like the fantasy element in it. So I was inspired by this guy, and he's really cool, and also those really great designs. And if I would be able to just steal as an artist and combine those things together, it would look fine. Yes, next, ideas and sketches. So these are some examples of designs for characters. Yeah. And there are those lunch sketches, which I did like, okay, how I want to have that tree that house on a tree look. Okay, maybe there is like something which is protecting them from the sun because sun is they're really harsh and other, for example, from rain, there is no rain in that world, so no mercy. Yeah, so there is some storyboards because I wanted to create like continual story, yes. And there are some shots. You can find some of them in the final work. It was really cool to draw these characters because I still, when I started, what time is it? Nice. When I started to draw, I was like, okay, I do like 2D sketches of 2D ugly characters, fantasy, everything and else. And I was like, I never want to do environments. And still in my first year in high school, I was like, I want only to be characters in, I think, Riot or working for World of Warcraft. And after that, I figured out that usually when I look at a movie or play a game, I usually get like thrill from environments because they are rich, and I really like the aspect of, for example, Asian interiors that you can come into it, and if they have like a lot of things there, you can find just from those things what the person is living there, like because it's one type of storytelling. So I would like to create and tell stories with environments and through environments. So for the characters, I just had 2 days. It was like crazy, and I was like, I'm not character guy, so it was like really difficult, and I needed to somehow do it. So I have been inspired by a really awesome artist, Ming Wen, and he did those 3D VR amazing characters, and I was like, okay, it's like from the distance, it's looking really nice. But if you can zoom out, I can go closer. For example, you can see, no, I can see, you don't can see, but there is like really simple shapes. And I also wanted to do it something similar. For example, look at that cable, it's like wiggle, 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 and then wiggle, and there more wiggle. So it's like simplified. And if I can put it right, those wiggles, I can make it cool. So think outside of the box. Yeah, so wiggle. Yeah, so I used a lot of techniques which I could use, like all of them. And I used 3D scans for the actual bodies because I don't know that much of anatomy and I need to be quick. Then I use gravity sketch for those helmets, those metal plates on them, or some parts of the guns. Then kit bashing. For example, I needed boots from other guys, so I kit bash it because I don't want to model it. Then Mixamo for animation. Mixamo is a really great program. You definitely should take a look on it because, for example, you have modeling peoples, and then you like it will automatically rig that character for you, and then you can move it, and you have some animation already like there, so you can choose from that library. Then Blender basic modeling, sorry. Yeah, Blender basic modeling. So it was like just squares. For the textures, I use procedural texturing because I want it for every of those characters have the same material. For example, this material is the same as on the other guy, and the metal is like only one type of metal for them, and maybe a little bit different for the guns. And I wanted to make it procedural and make it fast as I could. So these are some examples of those wiggle things. For example, this mask is just 2 hours of wiggling. Like you have just, I am obsessed with those shapes, and yeah, I always do them. And from the distance for this project, it was like, okay, it looks cool and looks handmade. For example, also this mask is something in between wiggle and Blender. Like you have some wiggling and then you have some polygons and stuff like those, so it can look much more industrial. Yes, and then you put cool lighting, a lot of smoke, and you have cool shot or some depression, like that one is already died. Then this is the screenshot of my screen in Blender. Yes, you can take a look on some materials. You can take a photo of it and steal it because we are artists, and it's really good. Like those materials, I usually do them really in a way that I want to make them simple as I can. For example, the whole material is coming from just two different textures. The material of metal 0, 1, 16. 0, 16, yeah. So I wanted to simplify it, and also because I had a lot of objects in that scene, I wanted to optimize it to the needs which my computer would handle it. Then there is shot of an interior. For example, for this one, I wanted to build this one from the ground up because also you can see on a previous screenshots from that movie that you can see the main focus isn't that interior, but are those characters, and I want to tell a story. But with this environment, I can help it. Help them out. So there are some screenshots of cool vehicles. For example, for them, if I would get the task to model it by hand, everything, I would be like still behind the computer and I wouldn't be here because you want to be in some way smart and want to sleep well. So this like downloaded model from Sketchfab or somewhere else, and then you can grab your own materials and do some kit bashing and stuff like those. Yeah. So there are like more images from that world. After I finished that course, I was like, okay, let's do more because I already have those characters, which took me just 2 days, and I never did more than those characters because 2 days for characters is enough for me. And yeah, I also did some photo bashing, and you can see also this one, the same character in different environment. This was like this is like projection painting with a lot of scans, and like there, I think I wasn't modeling anything. Everything was downloaded from the internet. So in some ways, you can use internet in a good way, not just the bad way, and grab from it what is for free and use it very well. Blah. And then the last point. Somebody knows this person. Yeah, this is my good friend. Yeah. So the sixth one, enjoy it as much as you can. So while you are doing your concept art and while you are trying to do everything at once, you need sometimes a break to go to beach or mountains or just nature or just visit your mama and have some homemade granko, how we call it. So sometimes it is really good to go out, and don't forget about us that we want to get inspired by everything else. Yeah. So the last slide of this summary. So let's talk about it real quick. First point, how to tackle hard and complex assignments. What we learned, that we are not able to eat the plane at once. We need to chop it in pieces. Then, strategy. Know which type of tools you will be using and how you will struggle with it, what is important for you and what is not, where you want to progress and what you want to achieve, and like, yeah, a lot, also what type of tutorials you will use or what type of courses you will choose. It really depends on you, and this thing should take you probably a day just thinking about it, because if you, sometimes I'm like, I feel really artistic, I want to create something, and after 2 hours it's like garbage and I'm depressed and I go to sleep. And then I maybe on the morning I will figure out that, okay, if I would follow the Michel Lotito steps, I would like first hard complex assignments, do it like in easier way, strategy, and then go it for it. Like you want to have a plan for your work. You don't want to just, if you have something really hard, you want to like think about it just a little. Yeah, and research and references, they're really important. Not just references cool images, but also research. Like go to museums, read some books, and be like, nice. Yeah. My vocabulary is really strong, so the first ideas and sketches. After those researches, for example, on one project, I had like I was paid for searching for references for 3 days, and it was like, I'm paid for this? Nice. It's really cool. And it was like really beneficial, because after those 3 days, I had giant library of different references, and I can pick from them later. And I was already educated in that area. Yes. Ideas and sketches. Then think outside of the box. If none of those points will help you, this is like the last one which help you, but maybe it will. Like think differently. Maybe it will help. Steal from everything what is free, and be polite to others. And then enjoy it as much as you can. So after that you did some good piece, you can go to bar and drink some cocktails, or go biking, or see your mama. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Mellow. Thank you.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hey, we have power.
You should have tried sooner.
We tried it sooner. Yeah. So we still have a little bit of time. If anybody has any questions for Gabriel following on his talk, I can run over with the microphone.
Let's beat me with your questions.
Hi, Gabby. I have questions. How do you time constrain yourself to finish a complex task? Like you said, characters 2 days. Is it like your rule? Is it max? Is it for all the characters?
Yeah.
How do you time constrain?
The worst way is like your client will say to you like, you need to finish tomorrow, and there you are like no more options. But in the best way, you are like, okay, I can. After some time, you will and earn some skills. So after that, you can like be like, maybe this will took me that amount of time or that, and always add like 4 hours more, because you always like you are usually I'm lost in YouTube and other videos, so get the time with it. And I would say like sometimes it is hard, and for example for that pyramid piece I was grabbing my hairs and I was like, I don't know how to do it because it's so complex. And at the end, after some bad things and a lot of work, it was like done. So I don't know if I answered your question. Kind of, yes. You will know. Yes.
Do we have any extra questions for Gabriel? Yep.
Hey, my question would be is that for those artists who are not so technical minded, do you think these keyframes and environment concept art, is it possible to do without using 3D, like just painting and Photobash or something?
It is possible, but it's similar like to go on a bike without wheels. And like now, for example, now, if some of you would like to be environment artist, the Blender is a standard. You need to be really fluent in 3D language. And yeah, still you can do 2D, but it's really difficult to find a market for especially environment concepts. For the characters and illustration, it's possible, or comics, it's possible. But for this, I would say like learn Blender after you go home. Like,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Oh, got another one here.
Hi, yeah. I just want to say it was a really good talk, by the way. Really
Thank you so
enjoyed
much.
it. I've got a question. You were mentioning gravity sketch in
Yes.
VR. What was your kind of, why was you using that rather than just not using Blender? Is it because so you could do the squiggles?
Yeah,
Right.
those quizzes were cool. Yeah, I think usually I use Gravity Sketch for organic things, like the caves or the rocks or something which is like sleazily and moving and it has like natural shapes. I wouldn't use it for metal things like there, but I was like, let's try it, like do that metal things from the distance that could look good. And I think the main point would be like in a VR, you can see it in a 3D dimensional space and you can do it by hand. It's like, sometimes it's hard for your brain to compress it because after a few hours you will feel bad, but it's good still to try it, the VR, and you can design it much better. For example, if I would do the next assignment would be to have a beautiful character with some armor. I would start with a Gravity Sketch and then I would jump to, for example, ZBrush or something that I can detail it more. So for those characters, I needed to do something really quick. But this was like main reason, and it didn't need to look really good and well polished from close up. It was like just for the distance and then feel.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And another one. 1 second.
Hi. It was really interesting to listen to you. And I know you're now really professional artist and people can find you by themselves. But when you started, for example, what sites you used to share your work?
Yeah, for starting, it's really good Instagram because you will not find their probably job, but you will build like audience where you will be motivated by them that okay, I feel bad because in these 2 weeks I haven't posted yet, so I want to post it. For our session, it's a little bit different. Like I would say for our session, it's like better to start posting there when you already have like some good work because nobody will see it, and it's really hard. Like our session algorithm are really hard to tackle. Like how to have some images with 1,000 likes. It's hard. Yeah, so I would say that Instagram is best, and somewhere where your friends can see it, and it will motivate you to do more.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do we have any further questions? I have spun around and I haven't seen any hands, so I think we're good.
Nice.
Oh, there's one. I should have spun more.
I have a question. It would be like, hey bro, what brushes do you use?
Cool question. Like the best one.
Very important one.
No. I think 2 weeks ago I downloaded. I'm really bad at names, so I don't know the names of those owners, but I downloaded some there from, for example, John Park's brushes are really good, Jama's brushes are really good, and others' name I cannot know now. So yeah, But sometimes I create like I will destroy their brushes and create mine based on those on theirs. Yeah, good question.
And on that note, I think. Oh, we got one at the front. Sorry.
You said you spend even 3 days nonstop looking for reference. So I'd like to ask, why was that? And also, like, when do you personally know that you've looked enough? And you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah, usually I wouldn't spend that much time for it, but the client, it was artist, and the client wanted me to spend that much time. He wanted to see like my taste and what type of information I'm searching for. So it was just I will know later if I will do something similar in work, but usually I am spending like half of a day maximum for references because those images are I'm spending like week max on them. After 1 week or 2 weeks is like I want to finish it already. Yeah, I'm not I'm not used to do like really polished pieces for a whole month. It's like too much stress for me. So the answer is the client wanted to do it, and I figured out that it's really cool to do it. For example, now I will have 1 month sabbatical, and I will like look maybe a week for references and just watch movies, a lot of movies. Yes, we will see.
I'd also like to know, like, when you stop looking for references, do you have like a clear image in your mind that, okay, now I can start putting it down? Or what's the point when you think like, okay, now I have enough?
Yeah, sometimes it's like you look at it that way that you have enough material to steal from. Like you have pockets full of gold and you don't know how to put more gold into your pockets. So you are like your brain is like working still in a good way, but it's like, okay, this is fair enough. I have a good amount of information, and it depends on the artist. Some artist has like really large reference boards, and it's for them it's good. For example, with Gemma, he asked us for max 10 images for that first pitches because he wants to make like the most. What I said wrong? No, he wanted the most iconic images which represent our vision. So I would say it depends. And if you like to have a lot of references, go for it. But if you feel like I'm lost already, then you know what to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And before I open my mouth again and say we're done, would anyone like to ask any more questions? Go once, go twice. Okay, in that case, can we just give a big round of applause for Gabriel?
Thank you
for his great talk.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.